Hi, I'm Cari. I'm a solo retired Gen Xer and somewhat of a free spirit. Yesterday, I found myself agreeing to something that I perhaps later wished I hadn't, or this morning I wished I hadn't. I'm on a cruise and I have a loyalty status which enables me to have two specialty dining vouchers for two. Sometimes I'll share with somebody, but more often than not, and especially lately, I've been just going on my own. These are people who I don't really know, and sometimes it's nice because you get to know other people. But, for whatever reason, I've just been quite busy doing things, and so I've just gone on my own. But last week on the cruise before this, I went for dinner with the officers. And whilst I was there, and I've been quite anonymous on this cruise because, I like to do that sometimes. But whilst I was there at dinner, I was sat next to a guy he was from Switzerland, very nice gentleman. We chatted over dinner with other people on the table. And then I've seen him around about the ship. He's always walking around and about. He knows where I hang out because I'm always either on my laptop or doing some kind of work or reading. And then there's a special place I like to sit on the ship. And he's obviously seen me there a few times. So anyway, he turned up yesterday. And I was quite busy. I was in the middle of doing some banking. And he sat down and he said, have you got a minute? So I said, yes, because, I did. I could break off from it. But I was a bit distracted. Anyway, he wanted to know, did I want to share my vouchers with him? And he share his with mine. So basically, we would have 4 dinners together, all very platonic, nothing else in it. And he was a nice bloke. So I said, okay, yeah, okay. He had one booked for tonight in the French restaurant Le Bistro, and then one later in the week in the steakhouse Cagney's. And so I said, I don't have any reservations. And he said, what do you do? So I said, I just turn up. I've been going around 8 o'clock when the rush is over and they just find me a table. I said, we'll do tomorrow night in the bistro if you've got the reservation. And then we'll use my voucher for Cagney's later in the week. And then we'll sort out the other two, whenever. So he's like, oh, okay then. So we had that booked for tonight. And then I bumped into him yesterday evening and we were just talking and he was asking me again about my reservations and had I made any, and I said I don't make them. And I could tell he was quite uncomfortable with that. So he's obviously more of a planner than I am. So he was kind of keen to get his plans organised and know where he was going and make sure he was using these vouchers. I said, I'm not bothered. I said, I'm quite flexible. I said, if you're happy to, why don't you go and book the other 2 reservations and then just let me know when they are? So he said, oh, okay. So that's how we left it. So anyway, I woke up this morning and I was having breakfast and we have a day at sea today. And I thought, maybe I'll get the internet for today because I've got some stuff to do. And then I thought, oh no, I've got tonight booked for dinner with Chris. And although that's not going to take up too much time, it would take up, I don't know, an hour, maybe only an hour, which isn't too bad. But what I didn't like was the fact that I was committed to something that I didn't really want to be committed to. So I'd been quite agreeable in agreeing to it because there didn't seem a good reason not to. Yesterday, but today I was like, oh, I don't really want to do that because sometimes, I just decide at the last minute. Sometimes I might miss dinner. Sometimes I might just pop to the garden cafe, which is like the buffet, and just for 5 minutes, just grab something and then go back to what I'm doing, or watching a show or whatever. But yeah, and I don't commit to a lot of things, and I kind of realised that. So I was umming and ahhing what I should do. I mean, it did cross my mind to cancel tonight. I thought if I let him know first thing, I'll give him enough notice. But then I thought, no, I've made the commitment. It is tonight. I know he probably won't be able to find anybody else in time for tonight, and so that would be wrong of me to do that. And I thought, well, I've made the commitment. I'm not going to cancel. It's 2 dinners. But I thought what I could do is I could maybe speak to him before he makes 2 other reservations. So I'm kind of contemplating now if that's something I should do. If I've made a commitment to do something, I will honour it and I will go, because it just feels like the wrong thing to do to cancel at the last minute. albeit if people do it to me, I don't mind, because I'm kind of quite happy, because often I've made a commitment to something that I'm very happy to get out of. And I know I've found myself saying to people, oh, are we still on for such and such? Hoping that they say no, because if they say yes, then I'll go, and I'll say, no problem, if something's come up and you don't want to make it, I always give them a get out. As long as I haven't made a financial commitment, then I'm quite happy to have anything cancelled. I've booked a cruise in, May 2028, which is forever away. And I never do that, but I've done it because Cunard are having the Four Queens meet in Liverpool, and the last time they did that was 2015. And I do love Cunard, and I know that will be a big celebration. So all the ships are meeting in the River Mersey. A friend who I met on a cruise way back last December on a Cunard ship told us about it, and I really wanted to do it, so I've booked that. And that's something that, I won't think about it until nearer the time. But I've booked it and I'm committed to it, and I know it's something I'll go to because I really want to. And I met a couple of ladies on that same cruise who live in Florida, and when I was in Florida earlier in the year, we decided to meet up, and we had 3 days in Disney, and we had a lovely time, and I committed to that a few weeks out. So I'm good with stuff like that. But things that I'm not agreeing to because I really want to do it. Things that I'm agreeing to because there doesn't seem to be a good enough reason to say no. They're the things that I need to spend a little bit more time before I commit to them. So anyway, I'll go along to this. I'll try and get hold of him because this has helped me decide. I'll try and get hold of him this morning. I'm sure I'll be able to. That feels like a good compromise, actually. I'm not letting him down at the last minute because it's just not the right thing to do, I don't think. I'm definitely going to start just being a little bit more considered before I respond, and think, do I really want to do this? Or am I doing it because there doesn't seem a good reason to say no? And if that's the case, I'm not going to agree to it. I'm not going to commit to something. I won't necessarily say I won't go, but I'll just say at this time, I don't really want to commit to this. So please see if you can find somebody else. If you can't find anybody, then let me know. But in terms of, it seemed like a good idea to say yes, but was it?
Well, it turned out to be a very nice evening with delicious food, good company, and so I would say yes, it was a good idea.